This is the short intro about me. Having 20 years of IT experience, I'm a Microsoft solution architect in Azure, cybersecurity architect, and again, M365 enterprise admin expert, Microsoft certified trainer since last 8 years in the road now. I'm also certified on CCSP and I'm on the way to complete CISSP as well. I work as a principal architect in one of the product-based company in Bangalore. So this is a short intro about me. When it comes to the teaching and all, I've been giving this kind of training since last 10 to 15 years now. I'm a part-time trainer for Simply Learn. I do conduct training on Azure, Office 365, and the cybersecurity. As the visit told that yes, we have been engaged since last 4 to 5 years. This is the short intro. Now, why we have collected, if you don't mind, you can also take or say 1 or 2 minute maximum to just introduce yourself, and then probably we can start. Starting from Jaypra, if I pronounce your name correctly.
Uh, no, it's like a username of my company. That is why. Okay, so my name is Pratik. I'm working in Aegon Zender, Gurgaon, as a senior IT ops engineer, where
Okay.
I'm managing the Azure Intune related tasks, server admin related tasks. Yeah. So
Okay.
now looking for the recently I got a project of vulnerability management. So I think ZTA or Zero Trust principle will help me
Absolutely.
towards the Z vulnerability
Yeah, so
management.
you're saying GTNA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ZTA, Zero
Yeah.
Trust Assessment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys are using Netscope there?
Not Netscope. We are using CrowdStrike and
Oh,
Tenable.
okay. All right.
Nessus. Yeah.
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ujjwal, if you don't mind.
Yeah, hi Ajay. Hi everyone. My name is Ujjwal and currently I'm working as global IT system admin at Lenjate. Here I'm taking care of Office 365, Azure Cloud and cybersecurity stuff as well. So currently the global IT and cybersecurity has been merged together. So I'm looking more in the security side. So that's why I joined this system.
Thank you. Mobin, over to you, man.
Yeah, hi Jay, hi everyone. Myself Mobin Ahmad. I'm working in Entity Data Business Solution, Mumbai. Currently, I'm working as remote in Karnataka, and I'm a CyberArk admin here in Entity
Okay.
Data. It's a PAM tool, and as well as I'm also AWS security engineer. I think I'm joining this session to get more learning in the security side, which could help me to grow more in this company. Yeah.
Thank you, Mobin.
Thank you,
Shad,
sir.
if I pronounce your name correctly. Shad.
Right. My name is Muhammad Ashar. My name is Saz. Uh, I'm
I'm
currently
sorry,
working
but your
for
voice is
Sapphire
breaking.
Foods. As a,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, so I'm looking some certification of the Microsoft Enterprise Administrator. So that's why I joined this session.
Okay, thank you. Amar, over to you, man. Amar.
Hi everyone. My name is Amar Gunjat. I am from Pune. I'm working in as a network engineer, Comsys Infotech, Pune.
Okay.
Right now, I'm looking for the Office 365 security, that
So when you say the
knowledge.
Azure network, you are on site to site, creating express route, plus
Yes,
these kind of
yes,
things, Azure firewall, NSG.
firewall.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
firewall configuration and the rules and just like
all
that,
right. Okay.
security.
Thank you. All right, guys. So thank you everyone for taking some time to introduce yourself, and let's proceed. Okay. So the concept or the agenda, what we have chosen here, like the zero trust principle alongside M365. So we have to understand these two products first, and then we'll talk about going further. how we can collaborate these two. And of course, the Zero Trust is very, very powerful framework. Of course, as you know that, okay, it is a powerful framework. It is not the product or the tools, right? Similarly, we also have something called cloud adoption framework. Then we also have the well architect framework. Similarly, we have the Zero Trust. So let's try to make it more interactive, because I can see the people who are already working on what is your take, how we are going to proceed, a little bit about it. So even I can also learn something, you can also learn from me. Okay. So I'm just wanted to know, according to your prospect, what is Zero Trust? What do you think? What is the Zero Trust principle? Or when we say, what is Zero Trust? And subsequently, what do you know about the pillars of Zero Trust? Because there are two things what we are talking in today's webinar, or in today's call: Zero Trust, and then we are going to discuss something called M365. Okay. So let's try to understand the objective of this webinar is to collaborate Zero Trust with M365. So we need to understand the basic first, what is Zero Trust and what is M365, and how we are going to achieve Zero Trust using the tools and components what we have in M365. Okay, so let's try to understand the Zero Trust principle. What is the Zero Trust all about? I can see that you guys have already working, or you started working on, so you should be knowing the, at least the nitty-gritty of the Zero Trust before we actually get into the product and get into the, services when you are going to implement it. So what do you think, guys? What is Zero Trust in layman term?
The way where we can't believe anything, like 4I method is called zero trust, I guess.
Okay.
To ensure double check everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Good attempt. Anyone else?
It's like never trust, always verify. Uh, we should be continuously verification should be done, and the least privileges access should be given. Yeah, and the authentication should be strong, like using MFA or something.
Correct. So in the layman term, when we say what is Zero Trust, a simple sentence is never trust anyone. Okay. Never trust anyone and always verify. Okay. So it is just like, if I take one example or analogy to understand, say, if someone is knocking your door, someone is ringing the bell, okay, you will have some kind of eye right on the door. You can always check it out who is there. Or if you have some kind of CCTV camera, you can always check that, okay, who is that? Or you, upon checking that, only say you are living in flat or somewhere. Nowadays, everybody is in the apartment. They have some kind of application. They can always verify before saying or allowing to the premises. They will say that, okay, who is that guy? What is the intent? And once you allow or approve it, then only the person will come, right? Or that person will enter to your premises. So Zero Trust is nothing but it is a kind of concept which says never trust and always verify. Okay, checked, verify every time. So this is the Zero Trust in the layman term. Now we are going to understand what all the pillars we have it. When we say the pillars, it has the three pillars for the Zero Trust. Again, Zero Trust is kind of framework that is being adopted by most of the cloud service provider, be it Microsoft, uh, AWS, Google, or at the same time that there are multiple, network service providers. In our organization, we are using Netscope GTNA, like that. Palo Alto, they are also having some kind of Zero Trust. Cisco is also having Zero Trust. Okay. Now, so this is the pillar. I mean, this is the concept. Now, earlier, Zero Trust was already there. I mean, it was there, but ever since, or the post-COVID, I would say it has become paramount. Security is a paramount for every company, right? Zero Trust is one of the mechanisms to secure your environment. Now, if I assume that, okay, what was the, say, take one analogy before Zero Trust, how it was, say, in our organization also, there is something called VPN, right? Now, in the VPN and without the VPN, if you walk to the, or, if you walk to the office, you are at office. So it means that every sort of option will be open for you. Sometimes say MFA is one of the mechanism to strengthen the security. So sometimes even MFA can be bypassed when you are at office network or on-prem environment. Say if you're working from office, sometimes MFA can be bypassed, stating that, okay, you are connecting or users are being connected at the trusted location or the trusted network, right? So that is a kind of mechanism. Now, out of the box, Zero Trust has been completely changed, right? Now, what Zero Trust principle says.
Ajay,
Oh,
for interruption. So there's a person waiting in the room. I don't see. Can you please admit him, if possible? Sorry.
I cannot see the visits.
Anybody? Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Continue, please.
Okay, thank you. So now the concept has been changed. How actually it was and how it is now. Now, every organization, they are promoting the Zero Trust or they are adopting the Zero Trust, stating that no matter you're connecting from office network or remote network or at cafe or restaurant, anywhere, you have to follow certain guidelines in order to connect. So Zero Trust is the same. So the principle for the Zero Trust, as I told, it is not only for the Microsoft or Amazon, it is a framework, just like any other framework, just like what we have NIST framework from the security prospect, CIS benchmark, right, from the security perspective, ISO 27000. So these are the frameworks, right? Just give me 1 second. Guys. Okay, I'm here. So this is called the Zero Trust. Now, when we talk about the pillars of Zero Trust, so we have 3 pillars for the Zero Trust. What all these? These are the 3 pillars. One we have is called verify explicitly. Okay, one of the pillar. The second one, it says trust no one. Sorry. Verify explicitly. And then it says assume the breach. Use the least privileges. Okay, so these are the 3 concepts or the pillars of Zero Trust. Okay, verify explicitly means, as you know, in the security terms, we also have something called CIA. You guys must be knowing it. Confidentiality, availability, and integrity, right? Sorry, availability. CIA, what CIA trusts, what we have it. Okay, so Zero Trust actually protect this part, verify explicitly, assume the breach, and use the least privileges. Verify explicitly means always verify. Okay, who are you? Or there is something called in MFA terms, we say there is something called what you possess, what you are. Okay, and how you're going to authenticate. So there is a concept, authentication and authorization. These can only be possible when we verify explicitly. Okay, second, what we have is assume the breach. No matter, always think that, okay, there is something, breach can happen, the breach is there, and accordingly you need to protect your environment. So always assume that, okay, you have some kind of breach, right? And that is why you are going to strengthen the overall security mechanism in your organization. The last but not the least, it says use the least privileges. Okay. Now, when we talk about this, use the least privileges, there's two concepts how we can do it. Okay. One is definitely what we have is called PAM. If you heard about PAM, Privilege Access Management, PAM, PAM. Okay. And there is something called PIM, Privilege Identity Management. Okay. Now, some of you, I think, Marvin, you told that you're working for CyberArk. So CyberArk is also kind of, PIM or PAM product, right?
Yes.
And it protects the PIM and as well as the PAM. Similarly, we are also using something called Beyond Trust, right? We are using the Beyond Trust. It is one of the product which actually leverage, and with the help of this product, we are going to safeguard our network, we are going to safeguard our database, we are going to safeguard our servers. Okay, so that comes under PAM. PIM is something called Privileged Identity Management. How you're going to secure your users, your groups, your identity. That is what we have the PIM. Now, one of the example for the PIM, assume that you are the global admin or you are the enterprise admin for any organization. Okay. So as per the Zero Trust and as per the traditional way, say earlier what we used to give, for example, if I'm the system admin for my company, so there would be something called domain admin enterprise. Say that is the highest level of privileged account what we have, enterprise admin. Or say in Azure, we say global admin. Okay, that is a super admin in any organization. Now, what says in a traditional approach, say if I join to any organization as a principal architect, okay, so I usually, in a traditional way, this is the traditional way, assume that. Okay, so if I join to any organization and I'm the, say, I'm going to be system admin, principal architect, senior system architect. So of course, as part of my job, whoever is the authorized person, he or the group, they will empower me with the kind of access, so that I should be able to carry out my day in, day out work. Okay, so I will be having a kind of top-notch permission saying that I have the global admin privileges. I do have the enterprise admin access and any kind of access which I need as a part of my duty to carry out. Okay, and these are the super duper kind of admin or the privileged account in my infrastructure. Okay, so that is a traditional way. Now, what happens is if this user, no matter this user is using this power, or whether, say, I'm the global admin and I perform or I complete my office timing, say 8 to 10 hours, but my access will be still attached with my account. So in case if there's any compromise happens, say during my off business hour or during when I am not working, so it is going to be a big blow for the company or organization. Okay. So that is what in a traditional approach, no matter whether this user need 24/7 this access or not, but still you will empower these kind of permissions, right? That is a traditional way. What Zero Trust says, you give only when it needed. For instance, okay, we all must be aware with the kind of change management, right? Now assume that, okay, some of you must have mentioned vulnerabilities management. So as part of the vulnerabilities management, I learned that, okay, this server or this Linux servers or this Windows server or this Netscope server need to patch, right? And I've taken the patch window time 2 hours during the weekend. So what Zero Trust says that only for the 2 hours you will be empowered or you will be delegated with the global admin access, or so long you need the access to so long you need to carry out this particular operation. So 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and thereafter your account will become a normal account, and then you can also associate. So the PIM is one of the mechanism which actually keep an eye, keep an log, and it also have kind of approval workflow, okay, which actually leveraging that you can see that, okay, how long any admin need. So now this is the traditional approach. If I say, I don't want to go with the traditional approach, I want to go with the Zero Trust concept. The Zero Trust says, instead of giving this account the access of the global admin or enterprise, give it when it's needed, on demand. And once you are done and dusted with your work, again, your account will become a normal user account. So by that time, or as long as you need to carry out certain activities, certain work, you will be having the permissions, global admin permissions, or say enterprise admin permissions, or any kind of privileged access. The moment you complete your activity, your access will be revoked. So what is happening? You are going to safeguard your admin. You are going to safeguard your, privileged account. And you can also monitor, by checking the logs. At the same time, you can also associate with kind of workflow. When I say the workflow, what does it mean? You can say in a company, we have something called InfoSec team or security team. There we will be having custodian. There we will be having people who will like to monitor the things. So you can say that, okay, if I wanted to have the admin access, I will be initiating from these many, or the set of admins who will approve it. And the approval window will be for 6 hours, 8 hours, something like that. And then only I will be having access. And then only I should be able to carry out the certain activities, during that window. And once I'm done, my account will become a normal account. So that is what the Zero Trust is all about. It is one of the example, as I told you, right? Any questions, guys, so far?
So Ajay, for the PIM roles, so global admin role or enterprise admin role would be eligible roles, not permanent role, and it would be need PIM approvals or activate the role, right?
Correct. It is not going to be permanent. It is like maximum is 24 hours and the default is 8 hours in the PIM.
Okay.
So 8 hours
Default,
that activity, and of course you can always modify that, okay, 4 hours, 6 hours. But in a usual, if you're using or you're leveraging the PIM, the default is 8 hours. Maximum you can grant up to 24 hours.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Welcome. Okay, in my case, my environment is already ready, so I'll just give you the glimpse. Okay, I have in the last training, I had given, so I'll just give you the glimpse here. I will not go deep dive because we have so many other stuff to cover. So this is my admin center. Okay, and here I have the identity management, and I'm already using the PIM. So how we can check it out, what all the things that we can do. I think usually you ask the question, so we have something, and of course we also need to discover and find out that kind of licenses. So people who are from the M365 background, they must be knowing that we need to have the P2 license, okay, in order to avail the privileged identity management. Okay, so here it is.
P2 comes with E5 or
Yeah,
we need
E5 by
separately?
default, but not with the O365. It has to come with the M365. We'll talk about that part also.
Got
Okay, I think I removed the things, but here it should be okay here. So say something similar to that, I added. So here you can check it out that who added, what kind of permissions they have given, everything. And then under the privileged identity management, here also you should be able to see my request. Okay, I have, since I'm the global admin, you cannot see mine, but of course, for one of the user, you should be able to see it. Okay, so it is a P2. It's a kind of in my environment for now, what you can see. Okay, we have a lot of things to cover, so I'm short of kind of, taking some other part and just giving you the glimpse. Okay.
yeah, thanks.
All right, coming back to here. So this is the concept of Zero Trust. Okay. Now, any questions here in the Zero Trust? Of course, Zero Trust is very huge topic, guys. Just giving you one glimpse or summary, but when you talk and just simply type in the Google Zero Trust, you will come to know a lot of stuff. Okay, Zero Trust architecture, Zero Trust in the Cloudflare, Zero Trust in the Microsoft. See, here it is a Zero Trust. Okay, verify, use, assume the breach. Okay, this is a documentations. Okay, so again, it's a very, very big topic. We are trying to go to cap so that we should be able to meet the other concept. So now let's, after having a good discussion on the Zero Trust, let's move to the M365. But before that, again, I wanted to have or know if you have any question on the Zero Trust.
I have a quick question, Ajay. So in Microsoft Office 365, you say there's PIM and PAM, right? Comes along with all of the, options.
It's a PIM. PAM is again a general concept.
Okay, so if some of the customer they will subscribe for Office 3 Micro MS 365, then they will get the PIM facility, right? And there's a no third party like CyberArk they don't need or
No, no, not needed. Only the license they have to enhance it.
Okay.
So we are going to touch base what all the minimum license you need to have in order to leverage the PIM here.
Oh, great, great. Thanks. That's all.
Most welcome. Okay, guys. So now let's understand what is M365 or what is O365. What do you think, guys? What is M365? Anyone?
M365 contains all Microsoft services like XDR, Preview, Defenders, Office as well. Whereas like O365 only contains Office related products like Office Excel, Office Outlook and all these kind of things, I guess.
No, no, that is your difference you're talking.
Hmm.
I'm saying simple, what is M365? Of course, the difference we'll talk about little later. But what is M365 in actual? What is the product? Is it service? Is it framework? What is that?
It's I think cloud-based product, uh, I would say,
Yes, it is
or
cloud-based, but which cloud? Is it
Microsoft Cloud.
SaaS?
SaaS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a SaaS.
It's a SaaS. Is it PaaS? Is it IaaS?
Yes.
It's SaaS, but a little bit of IaaS.
No, actually, it is a completely SaaS product, guys.
SaaS.
Okay.
Okay.
It is a SaaS product. There's nothing to do with the IaaS or PaaS, and it is completely owned, maintained. And give me any example, guys, for the SaaS. Any other example in general?
Gmail.
Gmail, right? So you should be able to correlate, the concept. Why I'm asking more analogy here, so that you should be able to know what is M365. Gmail, see, right now we all are talking, we all are having this recording and virtually we are connecting. So this Zoom is also product of, it is for example for the SaaS. Similarly, for the Microsoft, we have a Microsoft Teams, that is also SaaS product. If you're using ever, or have you ever used something called, GoToMeeting, that is also part of your SaaS. So it means that you do not need to worry about underlying hardware, software. You as a user, consumer, you have to just showcase or you have to utilize the end product. So now, for example, for the Zoom meeting, we don't know, the Zoom, which technology they are using in the backend, what software they're using it, what data center, servers, application they are using it. We don't know. We as a consumer, we can just utilize this service. When I say they utilize the service, what all that we can do? We can record this meeting, that's what is happening. We can invite anyone. We can also protect our meeting with a passcode. We can also share a screen, right? We can also invite someone. These are the things that we can do it. But we cannot go and check it out. What is the server, behind it? What is the technology they are using it? All right. So that is M365 is also one of them, and it is completely called on by Microsoft. Okay. So it is a SaaS. Now let's talk and see the difference between M365 and O365. So M365 and O365 is kind of one of the same product, guys. They are only one difference. We'll talk about. So when we talk about M360, O365, say what all the products usually consider. So the product, what we have, top-notch product is Exchange Online. Okay. Then we also have something called OneDrive. We also have something called Microsoft Teams. Okay. We also have something called SharePoint. Okay. We also have something called Yammer. Nowadays, it has become something called Viva. Okay. Social networking site inside your organization. Then you can also have the Power Platform. You will also have something called Azure AD, or this has been rebranded to Intra AD nowadays. Okay. And of course, at the same time, all the Office product, MS Office products. Okay. MS Office product could be MS Word.
Word, Excel,
Word,
PowerPoint.
yeah. WinWord, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, all this. So this is Office 365. So wherever you see Office 365, this is what on high level we have it. You one or two more product you might I might be missing it, but more or less it is the same. Now, when we talk about M365, so all the products which you can see 1 to 8 plus we will be having something called here. There is one more product which added when we talk about M365. It is called Enterprise Mobility Security. Okay. It means no matter nowadays a company, they are actually promoting their employees to take their devices, and we will be configuring it. So in technical terms, we say BYOD. Okay, bring your own device, and we will configure Microsoft Teams, Outlook, okay, Yammer, Viva, or say SharePoint, anything on your devices. So it is completely on and maintained by Microsoft Intune. We have Intune, And earlier we used to have SCCM, Microsoft SCCM, which is nothing but your server, on-prem server, or some organization they're using Intune. Okay. And the some advanced enrollment also is there, autopilot, if you heard about. Okay. Which is also known as Zero Trust installation. Deployment, Zero Trust deployment or installation. Okay. So this is only the key difference between M365 and Office 365, guys. Only extra license what you need, enterprise mobility security. That's it. There's no other difference between these two. Clear? Any questions here? Okay. So now, when we talk about M365, so predominantly what we will be focusing on. So if you ever wanted to take, or you already know it, M365, little background of the M365 from the examination prospect. Okay, Microsoft keeps changing some kind of examination or the certifications. Earlier, they used to have something called MS 100 and MS 102, sorry, 101. Okay, so these are the two different certifications from the exam prospect. Now, Microsoft has bundled together and retired these two certifications. Now, it is known as only MS 102. Okay. And similarly, from the identity access management, you know, the certification program, what we have is SC 300. Okay. Now I'll just give you one diagram here just to showcase the certification in case you just wanted to take it. Yeah, this is the high level certification path. Okay, the roadmap for the Azure and M365. So here what we have, sorry, M365 is not there inside. It's kind of outdated, but here, this is the certification roadmap for Microsoft Azure. Okay. Again, the last part what we have is Zero Trust with M365. What does it mean? It means not only your Microsoft 365, but Azure also, you know, because together these are the collectively these are the Microsoft product. So we should be knowing it. Zero Trust, how Microsoft is something similar to that what we have CIS benchmark policy, if you're aware it. And the CIS benchmark policy is for their AWS product also. For any kind of vendors, it is there. So how being a vendor, these vendors are bringing Zero Trust or any kind of framework, which is like renowned framework, you know, how they're bringing it together to strengthen the overall product. So now we are going to discuss M365 with Zero Trust. Okay. Now again, as we discussed and understood so far, Zero Trust has separate principle. M365 is a product, right, owned by Microsoft. So why we are discussing Zero Trust? Because Zero Trust is a kind of renowned framework, okay, just like your ITR or CIS or NIST, any vendor, they follow this, at least they can secure the environment. They cannot give, and no one can give you 100% guarantee that, okay, something will not go wrong. But by following these principles or the pillars, we are actually strengthening our environment. Okay. So Zero Trust comes with M365 in a different format on different ways. Okay, from the identity prospect, from the identity, prospect, from the data protections, from the network prospect. So every pillars or every segment we are going to secure considering the Zero Trust. Of course, it start with the network, okay? Then it start with identity. Then we also have something called data. Then, sorry, here it's going to be infrastructure. Then we also need to protect our data. So at every segment, we will be implementing Zero Trust to secure the network. And of course, and similarly for identity, infrastructure, data, what we have it, okay? So at each level, we will be using Zero Trust, okay? Any question with the M365 or Zero Trust so far, guys, before we jump to the next section? Or certification if you wanted to discuss.
So, according to M365, we need to enable MFA for the protect our identity. Correct.
Correct, yes.
Apart from that, what we need to do?
Yeah, we are coming. Good question.
Hotspot on.
Clear, guys? Any questions? Okay, now let's try to understand the Zero Trust. You know, how actually it is going to implement in M365. So we'll break down, as I told you that, okay, these are the different areas or segment, how we are going to protect our M365 environment. So of course, from the network or infrastructure prospect, we will be using something called, we can also see some product they will be using on multiple layers. Okay, in detail, if I ask or if I tell you the Zero Trust here, let me create a kind of table so that we can easily understand. And we will also talk about the different areas or the segmentation. So we'll start with the network. Then we'll start here. It is going to be something called network. Here it is going to be something called infrastructure. Then it's going to be, say, data. Then it's going to be your app, and then finally a device and identity. Okay, this is the device, assume that. And finally, it's going to be identity. Okay, so infra, now this is called data. Here you have apps. Here you have the device. And finally, the identity. Okay. So network, under the network, you will be using something called conditional access. You can also use the firewall, Azure firewall. You can also use the Azure NSG, you know. But specifically to Microsoft, say in M365, you can use the conditional access policy. In the CA policy, you will be having, I mean, this is the component that you need to use it in order to protect the Zero Trust for the network. In the network section, under the conditional access policy, you can define, okay, for instance, if your company or your organization doesn't deal with any specific country or the region, okay, you can very well go ahead and blacklist that that country. For instance, if your company doesn't deal with Ukraine, say, or Iran, just to take example. So you can block any kind of traffic from that network or from that country. Similarly, you can also block the network with the IP range, or you can also allow in the CA policy, you can allow, okay, you want, in certain exception cases, for example, in a VLAN, okay, certain users, they do not want to have the MFA to be prompted for the time being or because of any exception that you're creating it. So you can very well go ahead into the CA policies and configure your network that MFA should not be prompted for so and so and so network IP address range that you can give it, whatever the CIDR range you're going to give it. So CA policy is one of the way, and of course there are other things also, but this is what I'm trying to emphasize. Similarly, when we talk about infrastructure, okay, so in the infrastructure, how you're going to protect, you can use something called network segmentation. Then we also have something called encryption methods. Then we can use it. Something monitoring. The monitoring also we can use it. You can have something called Azure monitoring services. That also you can use it to see that how your ID, how the things are working, what all kind of traffic that you are getting it. That is also you can use it. In the data, you can use something called Microsoft Purview. For the data, for compliance, you can use the data Microsoft Purview, which is one of the very prominent, very trendy concept, Microsoft Purview. There, by leveraging this product, you can ensure the compliance is meeting GDPR, your HIPAA, your ISO 27000. These are the compliance are meeting. You can also protect the data by creating a classifier sensitivity level which comes under DLP. You can also create a retention policies. You can also create something called risk threat, by creating an insider threat protections inside the Microsoft Purview. So data, you're going to use something called Microsoft Purview is infra. Here you can use encryption method. You can also use the logs, etc. Okay. Applications. In the application, how you're going to protect. So here you can use something called you have the application. For instance, you have a Teams is one of the applications. SharePoint is another application. So how you are going to protect it? So you can definitely use Microsoft product. Here you can use something called Microsoft Defender. Okay, Microsoft Defender for Office 365, Microsoft Defender for identity, Microsoft Defender for endpoint, where we have a in detail XDR, AIR, and you can also create something called CASB, Microsoft CASB, Cloud Access Security. So here you can use the Microsoft CASB to protect. You can create a different policies. For example, in the Microsoft, say, since I already open it. So here we have something called under the security, you have something called Microsoft CASB. You can create a policies. You can also block certain file extensions. You can also ensure that, okay, certain applications should prompt MFA, certain they should not. Something similar to that, you can create it. So here we have something called application. To protect your applications, you have cloud apps. And here you will be having OAuth app and the new policies that you can leverage This is called Microsoft Defender portal. This is the portal, right? Here you should be able to create. Here you have a policies, different policies that you can create it. For example, here you can create any policy or you can leverage any template from here. So here policy, for instance, if I wanted to create, you will be creating policies. Okay. And you can also create any kind of cloud discovery or say policies which are, policy template, you can create it from here. Something like conditional access policy from here. Anyone who is forwarding any kind of message or say some people, or as part of your security norms, you do not want anyone to forward the email to their personal email address. If they are forwarding, how you will come to know? So there you are going to create some policies, threat detection policies. So for instance, here you will be having, say here, this is the inbox forwarding. Similarly, if anyone is anywhere in your organization is kind of ransomware, some sort of any activity is being performed or being done, that is also going to be recorded using the ransomware activity. Some kind of inbox rule are being created or any kind of anonymous IP address is happening. So that also you can create the policies or you can create the alert mechanism. So using this Microsoft Defender for cloud apps, you are going to protect your applications under here. And then we have something called device. How you're going to protect your devices. Say normally you will be leveraging Microsoft Defender for endpoints, right? There you will be creating something called the device has to be compliance. There's, as per the Intune, you are going to create the compliance policy. You are going to create something called, enrollment policies. For instance, one of the example in our organization, what we have created, we have ensured that, okay, people should use the at least 6-character long password to access any kind of company application. Of course, this is their devices. Okay. And there's a concept. If you are from the Intune background, there's a concept called MAM and MDM. So MDM is kind of still there, but it's kind of obsolete. We have something called your MAM. So what it says, only application I'm going to control, which you are accessing. For instance, if I've configured Outlook on my personal device, so I can only control Outlook. I'm not going to, go and check your camera, go and check your gallery. No, I am not authorized to do. But I will definitely protect my company data, whether it is Outlook, Teams, or any company data you're using it. You must have seen that, okay, if you're using Microsoft Teams on your device, you cannot take the screenshot. You cannot take the, something if you wanted to download. Of course, your company, they have not set any kind of policy. They have, you cannot. So by using the Intune compliance policy, conditional access policy, right? Here also conditional access policy comes into the play. For example, I'll take one analogy. I do not want my employees to be able to access my company data on their personal laptop. Okay. So I want my users, my employees to be able to access Outlook, Teams, or any kind of company data, the endpoint or the laptop given or provided by the company only. In this case, I'm going to create a conditional access policy and I'm going to block that. Okay, so here also the CA policies, Intune policy, enrollment policy, compliance policy, all these will come into the picture. Okay, you can also
Thank
block
you.
the devices which are kind of, very old devices.
One second.
Last but not the least, how you're going to protect your identities. Now, identities usually we refer users, your privileged users, groups. So of course, here we will be using MFA. We will also use something called identity protections. Identity protections. There is something called impossible travel, right? That also we can block it. MFA is one way. The advanced MFA, which is called passwordless authentication. Identity protection, passwordless authentication, and something called, in the detail, we can also leverage Azure AD or Intra AD. So all these things we can protect using these tools, what we have in M365. So these are the different components and the tools which are available in the M365. By leveraging it, we should be able to accomplish Zero Trust with M365. I hope I'm clear enough, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know it is correct or not, but is there any way like we can know our company's standard like framework what they are using like ISO, NIST, HIPAA and all? How would I know? Like, is there any policy which written on the document, or is there any way, or we can
First of
ask to
all,
some?
it is the nature of the company. Okay,
Mhm.
so say your company might be HIPAA, SD, your GDPR. It is like nature-wise compliance. I mean, industry-wise compliance. If you are working for any kind of credit card, companies or the banking firm, you might be having a different compliance. Okay, you can also check it out. Okay, if suppose any kind of say uh, you have a SOC 2. SOC 2 is a different compliance. So how do you check it out? You can definitely go and dig into your company security documents. Okay. Now, if you ever be part of, or you have been, ever taken participation in the auditor or audit, they've definitely they have some kind of artifacts. You can check it out. Moreover, in your company, in the portal, you can go and check it out whether which kind of compliances they are following it. Okay. Now, these compliances are nothing to do with the company. You should be knowing the nature of company. It's suppose the banking that you're using it. So banking there we have, or they are working for any kind of say credit card industry, then that the compliance will be different. If you're working for any kind of banking project, their compliance will be different.
Okay, okay, understood. Thank you.
Most welcome. Anyone else? So we are on time, guys. We have taken almost 1 hour, and I think in 1 hour in short period, I was able to demonstrate what is the objective of this seminar or the webinar.
It was a great session, Ajay. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, so I personally learned a lot for many sessions from different instructor and the experience like you, the experienced teacher like you. There's a lot of new things I've learned. And guys, I can tell you that, we work in industry, right? We talk to customer, and I can tell you the Microsoft technology, the security is so immense. Because if we talk from AWS, and then if we talk from Microsoft, then customer inclinations toward Microsoft, towards security, it's always little better from my experience. So I'm not saying that, AWS bad, Microsoft good. No, it's a kind of my personal opinion. Please go ahead and try to learn something from the Microsoft security posture. I mean, security, stuff. So it would add your value to your profile. That's all from my side. And just stay for 2 more minutes, guys. I have shared two links here. One is YouTube link, one is our feedback link. And it is a great motivation if you can share your feedback so that we can conduct these kind of sessions a lot in future. That is the humble request to you guys. And thanks for your time. And thanks for your time, Ajay. It's a nice sessions. Anybody
Thank you,
else?
Devijit. Thanks a lot. I'm also sharing some documentation. I mean, some link, guys. If you wanted to have a link, later on you can verify. This is like a certification prospect, M365, what all that it contains, and how you can leverage it if you later on you want to explore.
Ajay, just one request, if you can share the M365 certification path. Uh,
Yeah, sure. As I told you, like, okay, let me quickly share my screen moment. I'm on, in fact, there only. So
yeah, and
here it
yeah.
is.
Also, one advice wanted to get on the as a career perspective. In M365 and security with M365, what is the future as industry based in Microsoft 365?
The first thing first is what all the prerequisite you ask. Okay, so you can definitely, you should be having this much information or at least the knowledge. Okay,
Uh,
then I'm on the same page where, I just pasted the link in the chat window. So here you should be knowing it, at least nitty-gritty of this part, at least the basic information of the network, Active Directory services, DNS, and the PowerShell.
mhm.
Okay. Now, the best way is to start with, if you really wanted to get into the M365, the fundamental exam, which is MS 900. Okay. MS 900 is the kind of a preliminary exam for MS 102. Okay. So here you should be able to get just like just like your fundamental for your AWS certificate, the cloud fundamental or Azure AG 900. Similarly for MS 102, if you wanted to start your career, focus here. M365 365 fundamentals, where you should be able to get the terminology, you should be able to understand the basic stuff. Then once you're done and dusted, then you can jump here on MS 102. So this is the right path if you wanted to go ahead. Okay. And along with this, I would definitely recommend you to combine your skill set with the identity management. Microsoft Azure AD, or now it has been Intra AD. Usually whenever I conduct a training, I combine these two for the professionals like you. So MS 102 plus SC 300 is a kind of right combination, because this focus on Intra AD, of course, here you're going to get insight on the design, implementations, zero trust principle, how you're going to implement conditional access policy, identity protection policy, what is the authentications application, and then what is the enterprise application. All detail you're going to get it here. So it is at most important to have the combination of this to get the right flavor. And if you're already working into the same environment or you wanted to excel further, these are the two main certification that you should be taking into the consideration. MS 102 and SC 300, which is Identity Access Management Administration.
Got it.